Act like you love me, please." The poor girl's voice trembled as she stood under the shimmering hotel lights, her fingers clutching the sleeve of the man she had just met. Her eyes were glassy, desperate, and behind her stood the one person who had once broken her heart, her ex, arm in arm with a woman dripping in diamonds. The crowd around them turned, whispering. The tall man she clung to, Alexander Reed, the city's youngest millionaire CEO, looked down at her in shock. He didn't know her name. Not yet. But something about the way she looked at him, like he was her only chance left, made him say the words that would change both of their lives forever. "I love her," Alexander said, his voice deep, confident, echoing through the marble lobby. "She's mine." The crowd gasped. Her ex's smug smile vanished. The girl, Lena, blinked, stunned. For a moment, she forgot to breathe. She didn't expect him to go along with her impulsive plea. But in that instant, the lie felt real, too real. A few hours earlier, Lena had been standing outside the same hotel, holding a tray of sample perfumes. Her part-time job barely paid her rent. She'd come to deliver a box of luxury fragrances for the gala, unaware that fate had other plans. She had been exhausted, hungry, and ready to go home when she saw him, Daniel, her ex-boyfriend, the man who had left her the moment she lost her job and couldn't afford the lifestyle he wanted. Now he was here, flaunting his engagement to the daughter of a wealthy investor. Her heart had shattered silently, but she forced a smile, until Daniel noticed her. His mocking smirk twisted like a knife. "Lena, still working these small jobs? Guess some people never learn how to aim higher." His fiancée laughed softly, clinging to his arm. And that's when Lena saw Alexander walking out of the hall, surrounded by photographers. She'd seen him on TV, a cold, untouchable man known for his empire, not his emotions. Desperation made her bold. She stepped forward, grabbed his sleeve, and whispered the words that would tie their fates together. "Act like you love me, please." From that moment, her life took a turn she could never have predicted. After the incident, Alexander led her out of the crowd, away from the cameras. He didn't speak at first, he just looked at her, his dark eyes unreadable. "You lied," he said finally. To the entire press. Tears welled up in her eyes. I didn't mean to. He was my ex. He humiliated me, and I panicked. I'm sorry. I'll disappear. You'll never see me again." But Alexander's next words froze her in place. "No. You're not going anywhere." Over the next few days, Alexander's name was all over the headlines. CEO Alexander Reed finally in love. The media was obsessed. His PR team begged him to confirm or deny it, but instead, Alexander told them to let the rumor live. He needed a distraction from a hostile merger and a broken reputation. And so, a deal was struck between them. "You'll pretend to be my girlfriend for 2 weeks, he said, sliding a contract toward her. "In return, I'll pay your debts, and you'll walk away clean." Lena stared at the papers, torn. She didn't want to sell her dignity. But she needed the money. Her sick mother's hospital bills were piling up. She took a deep breath and signed. Fine. 2 weeks. At first, everything was staged, the public dates, the smiles, the photographs. But behind closed doors, Lena saw the man behind the suit. Alexander wasn't cold, he was lonely. He worked late nights, avoided family dinners, and carried a quiet pain no one dared to ask about. He'd lost his parents in a car accident when he was 16, and since then, he'd built walls no one could climb. And yet, Lena's warmth began to melt them. She brought him homemade lunches instead of catered meals, laughed at his grumpy remarks, and reminded him what it felt like to be human. Slowly, the lines between their act and reality began to blur. One night, after a charity gala, they drove to the outskirts of the city to escape the flashing cameras. The stars were bright, and the world was quiet. She looked at him and whispered, "You don't always have to be strong, you know." He turned to her, his eyes softening for the first time. "And you don't always have to pretend you're fine." That night, he kissed her, gently, uncertainly, but with all the emotion he'd buried for years. But love stories aren't that simple. The next morning, Lena saw headlines splashed across every screen. "Alexander Reed's fake girlfriend exposed, she's just a worker pretending to be his love." Daniel had sold her secret to the media for money and revenge. The contract photos, her background, everything was public. The company board was furious. Alexander faced losing his investors, and Lena, she disappeared. She left a note that said only, "Thank you for pretending. It meant more to me than you'll ever know." Weeks passed. Alexander searched for her everywhere, through every city street, every hospital she might have gone to. He didn't care about the scandal anymore. He only cared about the truth he'd realized too late. He didn't just pretend to love her, he truly did. Finally, he found her in a small town, working at a flower shop. She looked different, peaceful, though her eyes still carried sadness. He walked up quietly and placed a single rose on the counter. "You once asked me to act like I loved you," he said softly. "I'm not acting anymore." Tears streamed down her cheeks as she looked up at him. "But your company, your reputation." He shook his head. "None of it matters if I lose you." And for the first time, she believed him. The story ends not with wealth or fame, but with two broken souls finding love in the ruins of pretense. Alexander helped pay for her mother's treatment, and Lena taught him how to live beyond business. Together, they built a small charity for struggling women, so no one would ever have to beg for love just to feel worthy. And as the final scene fades, Lena's voice narrates softly.